Hi, everyone. I'm Sunny.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rox. And this is Literature on the Rocks with some gyrations.
Yes.
Yeah, gyrating book club.
I was kind of worried for you for a second. I was like, what is happening? Did she have a breakdown?
What a show you YouTubers are getting right now.
Your face.
Okay, we had to hit record because we were having some really great conversations. Actually, great might be a little bit exaggerated.
We were having a conversation.
that we were very much so enjoying.
Conversation gold. I don't know what you're talking about.
We were talking about how many Michaels we've worked for. Mm-hmm. They're very successful. But then I was like, well, is there a study that shows like how many Michaels are poor as well? Because
I did find there is not a database, but I just found it's like a fact sheet about Michaels.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm so interested. But I do think part of the conversation was there's so many Michaels in the world that, yeah,
They're bound
They're all-
to have some success.
yeah.
Sheer.
Which also brought on the Sunny and Cher conversation because I was
Yeah.
like, you know, how many Sunnys are successful? Probably not many because I'm the only one. And then you're like, well, Sunny and Cher.
And I was like, well, you're a couple $1 million behind. But then I thought you outlived him.
Yeah, how old was he?
He was 62 when he died.
No, he wasn't.
He lived a full life.
I
Ish.
seriously thought he was younger.
I did
He
too.
lived a full life.
Ish.
I mean,
Okay.
Fuller
62 is
ish.
definitely pretty old for a skiing act. No wonder why he ran into a tree. He couldn't see it.
His physical abilities had clearly declined. I don't know why he was trying to do these extreme sports at 62.
Listen, Grandpa, you can't ski anymore.
I'm sorry, did we know he was the mayor of Palm Springs and a U.S. representative?
I had no idea.
I did not know about the U.S. representative, but I do think I knew about the Palm Springs.
Okay.
Guys, hold on. Let me
Okay,
see
let's hear
Side
about these
note
Michaels.
about Michaels. Here's
Yeah.
some facts about
yeah.
I'm
Michaels.
excited about Michaels.
Globally, Michaels are 99.8% male. But
Wow.
however, there are 0.2% female Michaels.
Interesting.
Those
Like Mikey.
those live
Mikey.
in Nigeria and France. That's
Oh.
where the female ratios are.
Not U.S.
The age distribution of people named Michael, 31.3% of people with the name Michael are 65 plus.
I cannot wait to tell my brother this.
Smallest group named Michael is 18 to 24. So it is a fading name. It's not
classic
Which actually, it's surprising because it's a biblical name. So I feel like
I have a question. Is this including Miguel's?
No,
No.
this is specific to Michael.
Well, fine.
The second largest age group of Michaels, 23.9%, is 55 to 64.
Do you know this is
Okay,
a great
that's-
conversation because in one of my questions for this book club, I did rabbit hole and deep dive some statistics.
oh,
Okay,
did
great,
you? I
great.
love a
Nice.
good statistics.
The country with the largest proportion of people named Michael is in Austria.
Wow.
Then, following Germany and Denmark, the historical popularity of the name Michael is measured on the global population of people given the name. It was hella popular. Peak popularity for Michael was 1957, with name density is 0.536%, whereas the name density in 2001 was 0.091%.
Interesting that you were saying it's a dying name.
I do think it is a name that is commonly passed on.
I was gonna say
Yes.
that's another probable statistic, right? It's that like there's a lot of like
It's a generational name.
generational
Yeah.
name within the family.
Yeah, because I've got like 5 in my family.
Yeah, and I mean I have 2, but
Yeah.
I have none.
I have 1, 2, 3.
but if you had
Well, and
one,
that's
you'd
why,
probably have more than one.
Did you
Coco?
know my name was listed as a name now that is considered like an old name? Like you wouldn't name your child Rachel?
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's pretty Victorian.
No, I did not know that about Rachel. To be fair to you, I named my child a name that was older, like a classic name.
Yes.
So
That's true.
it's okay. You're all right.
I do think older style names are becoming very trendy again, right? Like,
Right, but it's like from what we considered old are now coming back.
Yes.
People are looking for grandma names for
Like
their kids.
Gertrude?
Yeah. Gertrude is I know 3. I'm just
I
kidding.
was like, oh my God. All in kindergarten.
Yeah, my son has 3 in his class.
Okay, so I did a thing because we're talking about names and the success of Michael, right?
Okay.
So I Googled, like, how does your name determine your success?
Oh.
And according to AI Overview, your
So
name
it's
can,
According to the
accuracy.
lies on the internet.
Your name can subtly influence your success through social biases, psychological expectations, and cultural perceptions, acting as an external label rather than a direct rule for your destiny, obviously. But it said pronunciation. People with names that are easy to say are judged more kindly and often hold higher jobs at work.
Oh.
Commonality.
So discrimination.
Exactly.
Got
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Because we talked about that
Precisely.
before,
Michael's so
like
popular.
with names
Yes,
on
resumes.
resumes and how people.
Yeah, it's an
Yes.
unconscious bias that you do, but I could see that.
Well, I think some of it's conscious, like, this name
Is clearly
doesn't
this
look like an
ethnicity.
Anglo-Saxon name.
Yeah.
I won't be calling them.
Right. And then the last one is implicit cues. So middle initials can make a person look smarter or more capable to others. Interesting.
What?
I don't know how that one works, but how? Like if your middle initial is a Q?
Michael J. Fox.
Oh.
I will hence now be known
As Rachel E.
Roman.
Yeah, all of my bosses put their middle name in their signature block.
Seriously?
So is that to
Is it like a
discriminate
power
against other? Because like in Mexico, you don't get a middle name; you get two last names.
Yeah.
A lot of countries are like that. Is that so? The U.S. was just like,
I think that's
we're gonna
specific-
find them.
I feel like it's specific to the
America?
US, and it probably did start with like, we're gonna have middle names for because my husband is the only one in his family that has a middle name,
Yeah, because it's not common.
and he's the only boy.
Interesting.
Not
Okay.
diversity. No DE and I involved in
No
the
DEI.
promotion of names.
All right, well, should we get into this book club?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Great. We are book clubbing The Unmaking of June Farrow. Can you tell us what our ratings were last week?
I would be so happy to. So last week for the Unmaking of June Farrow, Sunny was 3 shots. Rox and I were 2.
Okay, great. Let's get into
Let's
this
get
book
into
club.
it.
Our book clubs, we do the first 4 questions are the same every book club, and the last few are specific to the book. So our first question is, what were your initial thoughts when you started reading The Unmaking of June Farrow, and did the book meet your expectations or surprise you? I don't remember what I thought this book was about when I picked it up. I just know that I saw it a lot on social media, and I really enjoyed the cover of it. It sounded interesting and like a book I'd like to read, and I'm glad I did.
I love to pick a book by its cover.
Yeah.
You do that.
It's some of my favorite activities.
And this is one of them, I think, for me.
Nice.
I had a slow time getting into the book. I'm not sure why it took me a few chapters to finally get into it, but I thought it was beautifully written.
Okay, see, and I want to elaborate because I really didn't. I really enjoyed it from the very beginning. But as I get into some of these questions,
You maybe you're changing your rating.
well, you'll have to find out. Stay tuned.
Okay, so I said I was originally skeptical because I'm not the biggest fantasy reader, but this didn't feel like a full-on fantasy. Maybe it was missing some of the whimsical elements that usually lose me, but whatever it was, I was able to get into it. Timelines were super hard for me to follow at first. Eventually, I had to stop trying to figure out exactly how everything worked and just let the story take me along for the ride. Somewhere around chapter 25, everything started coming together, and suddenly I was invested.
You're so dramatic.
It only had 26 chapters, so I'm just kidding. I actually had to decline a call from Rachel because I needed to finish the story at that point. Sorry, Rachel.
She felt no remorse.
She's like, I text you. I'm so sorry I couldn't answer. I was reading the book. Also, I'm not going to call you back.
Yeah, I didn't call you back, actually.
And I'm going to text you an hour and a half later.
I was listening to
really
the end
into
of the book.
I'm glad you were in it to
But
win it at the end.
it definitely surprised me. I went into it unsure whether it would be my kind of book and ended up really enjoying it.
I liked that they did have the fantastical elements of it with the time travel and the door and those things. But it was also a love story, which was really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like a modern day fantasy. I didn't have to like imagine the world and like create an entire universe to
Right,
understand
right.
it, right?
Yeah.
There was a whimsical part of
yes.
it, and
Yeah.
that was cool. But
Similar
The fantasy
to
part was almost a little sci-fi.
yeah.
Yeah.
Similar to like Addie LaRue or the
Yeah.
bookshop one, the hidden
Oh,
bookshop.
Hidden Bookshop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it was.
I liked Adelie Rue. Bookshop one was okay. I do think we're actually picking a lot of similar style books right now that are good, but they're very women forward or
Yeah.
I love a women.
I'm gonna try to
too.
mix it up on the next TBR.
Same.
yeah.
I've already been finding. There were some that I found that I was like, because I was excited to read it, and I'm like, maybe I wait because there's been a few books that I've read this year that aren't on our TBR, and I'm like, I need someone to talk to about this.
Really add it. Yeah.
Unresolved questions. Were there any plot points or character arcs that you felt were left unresolved or could have been explored further? Like we just talked about, I think this was more of a love story than anything else, but I feel like there's a pretty big unresolved question. How the hell did the curse start? What things led up to the time looping and the madness that ensued? The watches that were used as a directional piece couldn't have been older than 1510. I looked up when pocket watches were a thing. So what did the Farrow women use before then, or did it start only with the great-great-grandma, and why? Like, what caused this to
It's a
start
good point.
happening?
Very good point.
How did we get here?
I like it. I said I would have loved more insight into Annie's perspective. She had such a unique experience because she got to know June both as a woman who had no idea she had a daughter and as the mother who raised her. So what was that like for her? How much did she know all along? And if she did know, how difficult would it have been to interact with your own mother while knowing
baby.
more about her life than she knew about herself?
And then help raise her.
Yes.
That's
There had to be so much emotion underneath those interactions that June couldn't possibly understand at that time. So I have absolutely no idea how the author would have worked Annie's perspective into the story without giving everything away. But she was definitely a character I would have loved more from.
I think there's a lot of different perspectives in this book that would have been cool to hear about. Or like spin-offs, right? Like, okay, you've heard the Unmaking of June Farrow. Now learn about
The Making of Annie.
yeah. And then it's just a sex book.
Literally the making.
Yes, I definitely struggled to make sense of some of the plot. The time travel definitely made it difficult to understand at times. It led to a lot of questions. Last week, Rachel and Rox rated it a 2, and I can understand why. The book definitely captured me from the beginning, but it was a lot of me trying to figure it out. So a lot of my questions I jotted down throughout the book were answered, but they weren't always clear answers. I read this, and this is, I'm just interjecting a little bit, but I read this very much so like I would read a mystery, right? Where you're like, a whodunit. Like, how is this working, right? This is something I need to solve more than I would read a fantasy book. So I think that's what really captured me to begin with was
That makes sense.
I
could
was
see that.
excited to figure it out. I think the one I struggled with the most is what the visions / hallucinations or whatever you want to call them were that the other Farrow women saw. So I know Grandma Margaret said she was spending more time in 2 different places, but when June went back and was having these visions, they were almost like memories for her. She was remembering this life she had already lived. Like in present day, she was having memories of Eamon. And in the past, she was having memories of Mason. But what were the other Farrow women experiencing? They couldn't have been memories because they hadn't folded over the time like June had, right? Also, did Margaret ever go through the red door? Because she obviously grew up with June and then raised June. Did she ever go through the red door? She must have, since she was having the visions, and they said that that was what was causing the visions. Once you go through the red door, you start to have these visions. Why didn't we just tell our daughters, when you see the red door, you must never go through it? If you do, you'll lose your mind. I mean, wouldn't that have been easier than folding over time and doing all these things?
Or to tell a rebellious teenager not to do something so then they do it exactly as they're not supposed to.
But also,
But there were a lot of secrets. Like, why were there secrets? Why were there so many secrets about what these visions were? And right,
Maybe because it impacted your present. Like if you knew too much and you
it would start the madness sooner.
Or
we don't
you're,
know
like,
because we don't know the
changing
rules
the
of the
time.
curse. We don't know how
Right.
it started.
right. So this is one of those books I think I read like tra-la-la, everything is plausible. But the more I think about it, the more I find questions in the plot. One major question I for sure ended with, even when thinking the plot had little holes, did Caleb have the same visions? Or was it just the women in the Farrow line that had these things happen to them?
Oh, because they never said
Caleb.
if there was men
Caleb
in
was
the
her brother,
line.
the
Like,
police
yeah,
officer.
June's brother.
Exploring that more in the next question, so stay tuned.
Okay.
Oh.
Alternate ending. If you can change one thing about the ending of the Unmaking of June Farrow, what would it be and why? Honestly, nothing. I thought the ending was beautiful. June ultimately chose her family and the life that she had built with them. What makes it even more beautiful is that the 1951 version of June already knew what choice her future self would make. She essentially sacrificed that version of herself and sent herself back, trusting that June was eventually given the choice again and she would choose them. It's a pretty ballsy move when you think about it, but also incredibly beautiful. She trusted the love she had for her family enough to believe she'd choose them all over again. I loved it and wouldn't change anything.
I agree for the most part, but I did do a little spin. I said, I want to know more about Caleb. It briefly touched on him going away at the end, but I think it would have been cool to learn about his life and find out that he did have the same visions. He went away because he didn't want anyone to find out. And while the line of women following June got corrected, Caleb carried it on. So he leaves because he's obviously embarrassed about his family's history, and they don't seem to even allow him into the family anyway. Plus, he starts seeing the door, so he runs away, hoping he can run from it. Or maybe he doesn't ever see the door because it's only the Farrow women who see it, sure. But he still runs off and finds a woman he falls in love with and has a little girl. She grows up to see a red door and walks through it.
Maybe he carries the gene. It doesn't happen, but he carries it.
Yes.
I love it.
All right.
Pick it up what you're putting down.
I went a slightly different route. Or I guess I didn't make an ending. I just complained. So while the ending was beautiful, I wanted more drama with the sheriff brother, Caleb. He took her words for what they were, like not understanding. She didn't spell it out for him. She gave him a very vague description of,
You know who I am.
yeah, exactly. So he drops his handcuff keys and then left after pursuing her for over a year. It just felt like that part was very lackluster.
Maybe he kind of already knew in his heart, and then she just confirmed it.
When he saw it, it was like, you are the spitting image of my mother.
Yes.
I know who you are.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Adaptation dreams. If the Unmaking of June Farrow were to be adapted into a movie or TV series, who would you cast in the main roles? I only ended up doing June and Eamon.
Same.
Oh, I was like, there's got to be at least one more. And
I wasn't feeling the rest
I
of
felt
them.
like the grandma would have to be a grandma
Two.
or younger.
Yes.
Right? And then there was.
And then the great grandma was all.
Okay, good. All right. Well, we'll see how this goes. For June, I cast Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh.
Same.
Shut up. Well, then we know who's getting cast out today.
Well, I still want to know.
Yeah, who did you pick?
I picked Caitlin Dever.
Oh.
She's got Jennifer Lawrence vibes.
She does.
Yeah.
I had to picture her as somebody who could pass for 1951, but
Yes.
also pass for present day.
I almost picked Daisy Edgar Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought she could probably play off the 50s kind of.
Yeah, but-
yeah, I like it. It was a good choice.
J-Law. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so for Eamon, I want to know how you guys pictured Eamon.
Hot.
Irish.
Irish and hot.
Oh, Irish is a good point. Hot, and he's a farmer, so he's a little bit built. Anyways,
Yes.
okay, but
Yeah.
it's like ruggedly hot, not like pretty boy hot.
No, ruggedly hot.
I mean,
Okay, so
I pictured his body hot, but not his face.
Garrett Hedlund. There
have
are
I
some
seen him in?
grungier photos, and him now is a little bit grungier. Like
Yeah.
not grungy, that's not the right word, but rugged.
okay. That's not a bad pick.
Great, thank you.
I did Barry Keoghan.
It's so funny because it's very few times where we ever see one and then immediately are cast out. Okay, I chose Jack Lowden.
Yeah, he could definitely I'm gonna shoot a bitch for coming after my wife.
Yes.
I think it's pretty clear that I am getting cast out. So let me look at
Hold
my
on.
two options.
Let me think about this. Who are we casting out?
I'm gonna pick
Yeah,
Jack Lowden.
Okay.
Okay. So June is Jennifer Lawrence, and Eamon is Jack Lowden.
All right.
All right.
Good intentions, bad choices. Several characters make questionable choices because they believe they're protecting someone they love. Does having good intentions make a bad decision more forgivable? Yes, I think good intentions can make a bad decision more forgivable, but I think it really depends on the situation and the consequences of your choice. If someone genuinely believes they're protecting someone for love, I can understand why they made the decision, even if I don't agree with it. But good intentions don't automatically erase the hurt or the damage their decision may cause. For me, it comes down to what they did, why they did it, and then whether or not they take responsibility for the aftermath.
Good answer.
Almost similar.
paste.
Yeah, almost.
Great.
I said, I'll start by saying I will absolutely make questionable decisions to protect my family. In a chaotic situation, I might not even fully think through the decision if I genuinely believe it would protect someone I love. But whether good intentions make something favorable is harder because forgiveness depends on who you're asking. Would I murder someone to protect my family? Maybe. My intentions might be good because I'm protecting someone I love, and maybe my family would forgive me. Hell, maybe even a jury would. But would the family of the person I killed forgive me? Probably not. I don't know that good intentions automatically make a bad decision forgivable. Maybe they make it understandable, and I think there's a difference. Morality gets a lot less black and white when we're talking about protecting someone you love. Sometimes you may believe a decision is worth making even knowing that everyone else won't forgive you for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so I think so. I don't think good intentions make a bad decision okay, but I do think it makes it more understandable. This goes along with the ethics question about is stealing okay? Is stealing okay if it's to feed your children? I think that if you're doing something considered bad, but there's a good reason behind it, I am absolutely more likely to forgive you as long as I can understand it. I feel like there's a chance we've talked about this before or something very similar. But to answer this specific question though, I do think it makes it more forgivable if you are making a bad decision for the greater good. In the case of this book, I think it's actually more complex than even the above example that I gave. June decides to leave her daughter and husband for a whole year. That's a hard thing to decide to do. However, knowing that she chose to leave to ensure her daughter didn't have to face the curse her family had was for the quote greater good, and I think it is forgivable. Also, did Bertie have any kids? Did June make this sacrifice for nothing since Bertie ended it anyways? I guess Bertie didn't have to live with a curse, but still, all that only for their lineage to die off anyway.
Okay, soulmates or circumstances. Do you think June and Eamon were truly meant for each other, or did the unusual circumstances of their relationship make their connection feel bigger and more inevitable than it actually was? So the more I think about this question, the more I don't know that I'd call June and Eamon soulmates. Their connection was obviously incredibly strong, and there was something almost inevitable about them falling in love again, but June also set the circumstances in motion that allowed herself to return to him. Without that, would their paths have ever crossed again? Probably not. To me, soulmates are two people who somehow find each other and choose each other regardless of the circumstances. June and Eamon's story feels more like fate, but maybe fate and soulmates aren't actually the same thing. Maybe fate creates the opportunity, but being soulmates is what you do with it. And I'm actually not sure which one June and Eamon were now that I'm talking about it.
But if you think about it, because like you said, when they find each other back, like when she went back, she didn't know who he was.
That's what I mean.
But she fell in love with him again anyway.
She created for her to come back, though. She made that like circumstance happen, right? She set the time so that she would go back.
I mean, she didn't have to go through that door again. She forgot all about it and could have chose to never go through the door.
Yeah, so
because she didn't know them.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe fate and soulmates are two different things. Maybe it was fate they had to be together. I don't know. And that's why I said I'm not really sure now.
I actually thought about this a lot while I was reading the book. It felt almost difficult to decide if I liked Eamon because he was a good guy or if it was because June already had a kid with him and she was remembering their past. I think I actually liked the idea of her and Mason together because it felt like I was seeing their feelings continue to develop instead of being thrown into a situation where feelings were almost already created and somewhat forced. Forced might not be the right word, but we never really needed to let the feelings grow because June was remembering why she loved him without ever experiencing for herself in this book. Plus the fact that she had a kid with him had to have an impact on her decision. I think a lot of the relationship with Eamon and June shown in the book felt circumstantial only because we didn't get to see how the relationship really started or how it grew. Right, I feel like that was a big part of
like you don't become so invested in it because you don't really know how it starts.
You
Like,
want
it
to
was
be there
like-
for the courting.
Yeah, or not even courting, but like meeting him, understanding who he is. She just kind of got thrown into this situation like, this is your husband and this is your kid. I think Eamon was really great. Like he wasn't like, not gonna force you. You don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
But like, I loved you and we had this whole life together. You may not fully remember it. I don't know. It just felt like it happened to her. Right?
I think they were truly meant for each other, but I also think the unusual circumstances of their relationship made their connection feel even more intense and inevitable. There's something about everything they went through, the time travel, the secrets, the way their lives kept intersecting, that made their relationship almost feel destined. But I don't think that means their love wasn't genuine. I think the circumstances may have brought them together, but the choices they made for each other and to each other are what made their connection more real.
How would you describe soulmates?
Your soul was mated to this person.
You find a piece of your soul in somebody else.
Okay. I don't know that I've ever described it that way. That's why I was like, if I had to really think about like what is a soulmate?
Someone that feels like home.
I don't believe that there is one soulmate that you're destined to meet.
Like you can have multiple soulmates.
You can have multiple
Yeah,
soulmates.
I agree
They fill
with
a
that.
different part of your soul, like
Yes.
different versions of it, right?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
It's not like there's one out there. You got to go find it.
So
I
then
think it's
soulmate-
there's lots of options.
And destiny, probably different things because you'd be destined for this person regardless of what happened versus some like there's only one distinct destiny versus multiple potential soulmates.
Yeah.
I think so.
It really had me thinking. That's why I was like kind of curious now. Like,
I don't think like when I think about if I were in June's shoes, no matter how much I loved Mason, I came back in time and found out I had a child.
yeah, I would have
how much
chose
I
that
love
every
that.
time.
I'm not leaving.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't care how much I love Mason. I'm staying here.
Which is probably why the original June was like, oh yeah, she ain't going back. It's
Yeah.
like she's gonna stay. I already know how I feel about this kid. She's gonna feel this way about this kid.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
And I that's why I think it was almost like I do think that Eamon and June loved each other, and I do think that it was one of the soulmates, right? I think Mason was also, but I do think if there wasn't a child involved, I think I would have been like June, Mason.
or in that situation, she might have been like, do I stay here and go to jail? Or do I just go through this door and go back to this other love I had?
Right.
It's like this guy's telling me to do. He's
Yeah.
telling me to leave and go through the door.
Yeah.
There's definitely
so the
less
kid
of a tie. I think
really
the kid
made-
needed to be a part of
Yes.
the story.
In
Yeah.
order for her to stay.
Yes.
Which now it begs the question, were they really soulmates?
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
think where this
Yeah.
kind of stirred from was like, that's something that I thought about. Like, I wanted so badly to love Eamon because she had this kid. I wanted it to be a choice that was like, I'm in love with this man and this kid is a bonus, not I love this child so much, I got to stick with this guy.
I got to learn how to love this man
Yeah.
because I obviously loved him at some point.
Yes.
So obviously there's love here. I just got to figure out how to
I
get
don't
there
think
again.
the story was like this romanticized version of Eamon. He was angry, he was whatever.
Yeah, they
it
did
was
not
their
do him
past
nice.
that made him this wonderful man.
Yeah.
And he had good qualities about him.
But
The
he was
fact that
grumpy when they first got there.
yeah.
But to him, she was.
So no, not the same
Not the
person.
same person.
Yeah. And she represented the person who just up and left. And like
Yes.
they didn't know that
And
he didn't leave
Yeah.
the daughter for not all day. Like they
Right.
didn't know these things. So
Yeah.
he had some anger at the person who left.
For sure.
Like
for sure.
unresolved anger because she left and he never got to argue with her about it.
Yeah, and
Or
I didn't-
ask questions.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike Eamon. I liked him from the beginning. I thought it was kind of him to let him back into this house. Like I feel
And
like
still the urge to protect her from the
Yes.
sheriff.
So there was clearly love there. I just feel like we didn't get that full love story because we didn't see it grow from the beginning.
Yeah.
We saw her just thrown into that, and I couldn't help but think like, I don't care what this man is like. I'm staying with the child
Yeah.
and potentially sacrificing.
Because it could have been Mason in 1951 and she would have stayed.
Yeah.
But what I thought you could see little pieces like when he talked about, or when the other family members talked to June about, like, that was both of yours farms. Like
Yeah.
back in that time, it would have been the man's farm.
Right. Oh,
he
yeah.
tilled it, you stayed your ass inside. But
Yes.
he
You did
worked
this
with
together.
her as a team.
Yeah.
And so I felt like, okay, like he had
he was a good guy.
modern mindset about women, and even though he was from this past time period, so
Yeah.
I felt like that was because if she did come from the 2000s,
Right.
she's looking to be a partner with
Like I'm not
someone.
in the 50s being your stay-at-home mom.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Let me sew this dress up for you.
Yes.
So I thought that like showed that he had a bigger mindset for his time,
And
so
maybe
I
that was
could see
also
why.
another factor that kind of made it work.
Yes.
Because if she had come back from modern days and then he'd been like, get in the kitchen, woman.
Yeah.
She maybe wouldn't have been
I'm
so
taking my
open
daughter
to it.
with me.
I think we would have been fighting in the middle of the tobacco.
Me and Annie will be in 2003.
Yeah,
Good luck.
right?
Yeah. With your failing tobacco farm.
I'm gonna go whoop your ass out here in these stocks, and then I'm taking my baby back through the red
another
door.
alternate ending. She comes and then just takes the baby with her because
Yeah.
she's like,
I love Mason, but I also love this kid.
and I'm not going to leave her here a second time, so she's just going to
And
come with
Mason,
me.
we grew up together, but also here's my child.
yeah, right. From 40 years ago.
Ignore her button-up
that,
shoes.
Yeah, right? Family baggage. We inherit more from our families than just DNA. We inherit stories, traditions, wounds, secrets, and sometimes some serious baggage. What have you inherited from your own family that you hope to pass down to your kids? And what are you hoping ends with you? Okay, get ready because I rabbit holed a bit here. But I thought it was interesting. So one of the things I think my parents did that I would like to continue is that they stuck together through a lot of rough patches. Now, I actually don't know if it was the best decision, honestly, but I know that growing up where there were many kids whose parents were divorced, and I felt lucky to have mine stick together. I can say that it definitely taught me what I wanted in a partnership with my husband, both things I wanted and things I didn't want. I feel like growing up, there were so many kids that had divorced parents. I feel like this is not quite the case anymore, though. Not to say there are no divorces, but I think our generation definitely learned from our parents' past mistakes and took marriage to someone more seriously than it was before. Maybe not more seriously, but the idea of marriage is definitely more of a partnership than a necessity. This thought made me look up divorce statistics. The divorce rate does continue to drop. I think the generations before us were marrying for reasons outside of love and partnership and building a life together. The number of gray divorces, so divorces over the age of 50, has increased, which I think kind of proves my point. Now take this with a grain of salt because my research was very minimal. But I think us millennials are figuring this marriage thing out. Now for the things I don't want to pass down. I don't think I've kept it a secret that I've had a lot of addiction in my past, in my family. I'd like to not pass down the addiction luggage if I can avoid it. And I think I'm doing all right. I mean, as of today, because if there's anything I've learned from my addict family is that we can only take things one day at a time.
Yeah,
That was good.
that was good.
Thanks.
I said, I want to pass down good things that I inherited from my family, the importance of showing up for people you love, family traditions, and knowing that family is something you intentionally nurture. But I also hope the struggle ends with me. I wasn't poor growing up, but I remember things being repossessed, worrying about we couldn't afford sports that I wanted to play or certain activities. I want my kids to inherit the love and the lessons from the upbringing without inheriting the financial stress or baggage.
I just said, oh, this is way too deep for this early in the morning and without unpacking all the things because, hi fam, I love you. There are so many good things I've inherited from my family that I probably don't even realize came from them. The ones that immediately come to mind are the importance of family, creating traditions and memories together, working hard, and going after the things you want in life. And let the record show this is absolutely not an exhaustive list of all the wonderful things my family gave me. So those are the things I really hope to pass down to my daughter. I hope she grows up with an immense love for her family and always knows that we would do anything for her. I hope she understands that all the things we do and all the little bits of magic we try to create are really about making memories together. And I hope she learns that most things worth having require work. Some things might come easy, but a lot of things won't. And that's okay. So keep going. As far as what I hope ends with me, I have been pretty open that I've come from divorced parents. And I think that experience has made me very intentional about the kind of family environment I want to create. Obviously, I hope my husband and I are together forever. You're stuck with me. But regardless of what life ever throws at us, I want my daughter to always feel like her parents are on her team. I want her important moments to be about her, surrounded by the people who love her and support her. My parents did the best they could with the circumstances they had, and I have a lot of love and appreciation for them. But I also think part of growing up is taking everything you've inherited, the good, the complicated, all of it, and deciding what you want to carry forward into your own family. I want to carry forward the love, the traditions, the memories, and the work ethic, and anything that doesn't serve the family I'm building can end with me.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's our last question. So how do we feel about our ratings?
Yeah. I think I'm going to keep my 2.
I'm going to keep my 3. I do think that there were a lot of questions, but because I read it as a mystery, I really felt like
it went
the
along
questions felt exciting
Weird.
to me, right? Like it felt like a mystery I was trying to solve rather than like a fantasy love story, anything like that. So I really enjoyed the process of reading it. I think when you start to look back and there's like a lot of questions that I have, then you're like, well, is it really a 3? But I did enjoy reading it, so I'm going to keep it a 3.
I'm going to keep it a 2. It was a good book and actually probably one of my favorite fantasy-ish books that we've read so far.
All right, well, that's a wrap on this episode of Literature on the Rocks. We untangled the unmaking of June Farrow and learned that family history, fate, and love can make for one hell of a complicated timeline. Next week, we're diving into The Book Club for Troublesome Women by Marie Bostwick. Make sure you're subscribed because we're here for you every Wednesday.
Yep. If this episode made you wonder about fate, the people we're meant to find, or whether you'd choose the same life if you had the chance to live it twice, Rate and review the podcast. It helps us keep exploring stories that remind us some choices are worth making and some people are worth choosing all over again.
Family drama? Check. Mysterious time travel? Check. A love story complicated by several decades? Absolutely. The Unmaking of June Farrow was a lot to unpack, and we loved every minute of it. Follow us at Lit on the Rocks Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and visit literatureontherocks.com.
Until next time, may you embrace the unexpected and never underestimate what can happen when you open the right door. Cheers.
Toodaloo.
Bye.